Welcome to Tales of Logistics, the podcast where we decode the past, the present, and future of global supply chains through gripping real-life events. I'm your host, Odiche, and today's Custom Cut Part 1 is a voyage into a week when the world's most vital maritime artery came to a scratching halt. It was March 23rd, 2021, a day like any other, until a 400-meter-long container ship, the Ever Given, got wedged sideways across the Suez Canal. Within hours, global logistics professionals, trade officials, and even heads of state were watching in disbelief. The Suez Canal, connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, is a lifeline for international trade. In fact, it is responsible for over 12% of global trade flow. On any normal day, about 50 ships pass through its waters, carrying everything from crude oil to electronics to cars, even to coffee beans. But that Tuesday, everything changed. Buffeted by high winds and perhaps human error, the Ever Given container ship plowed into the canal banks, blocking one of the most strategically vital choke points in global commerce. For 6 agonizing days, over 400 ships were stuck at sea. Estimates by Lloyd List pegged the costs of the disruption at over $9.6 billion per day. That's $400 million per hour. $400 million per hour. Ships were delayed, port congestion grew drastically, and supply chain managers were scrambling to reroute cargo around the Cape of Good Hope, adding extra 10 days and thousands of dollars in fuel costs per trip. Sad. Even down to the retailers in the economy. Retailers were warned of empty shelves. Manufacturers braced for raw material shortages. IKEA and other factories had to hit pause due to stock shipments. So what finally happened? Well, it took an army of tugboats, an army of dredgers, and engineering teams working around the clock to refloat the ship. And finally, on March 29th, 2021, after nearly a week of global suspense, the Ever Given container ship was finally freed. The world exhaled in excitement. But the aftershocks, well, they were just beginning. Now, because of the 1 week of the Suez Canal blockage, the backlog took weeks to clear. And that incident exposed just how very fragile and interconnected our global supply chain systems really are. In the aftermath, businesses, e-commerce businesses, logistics businesses, supply chains businesses began to rethink just-in-time inventory models. Discussions around nearshoring, risk diversification, or multi-route planning gained new momentum. Technology firms offering AI-based supply chain visibility tools saw a spike in demand. So the reality is that, in short, the Ever Given didn't just block the Suez Canal, it unblocked a global conversation about resilience. That is what the Ever Given container ship unblocked globally in the industry of supply chain. So that's it for today's journey on Tales of Logistics. Don't forget to subscribe, and if this story gripped you, leave us a review or share it with someone who's into the behind the scenes of global commerce. Until next week, keep those supply chains moving and the stories flowing. Thank you.